one of you has to play the guitar and one has to sing.
We do that with every guest.
So it's called a stairwell session.
I seen that. I was asked about that, and I love
everybody
the
who's a guest has to do a stairwell session.
All right, well,
you
I'm
guys know
actually getting ready to do a Frank Sinatra bit at the event. So
Are you?
I have to put no training or nothing in it yet. But I found out driving home that I won join in. I think I can sing Frank Sinatra, bro.
I bet you could.
There's like
you
two
look like
songs
you could
that
sing
I had to
Frank
pause
Sinatra.
it. I had to pause it for a moment and be like,
hang on, Frank, get your shit together.
I was like, holy shit. So I'm going to pick one song.
Where are you singing
and one
this
song
at?
only. It's going to be at the Spooktacular Sing-Along, October 26th. North Dispensary's throwing it.
Nice.
That is
That's
so
really
From 5 to 10 o'clock, it's at Hillsboro.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We got costumes. We got a couple. I don't know if you heard the tips on the last couple episodes. I've been not giving hints out of what we're going to be for Halloween because I'm weird and I think it's cool.
I'll have to check it out.
First tip is,
if we guess, are you going to tell us that we're right? You can tell
you're never going to guess it because you're never guessing. You're going to get an idea of it.
You dropping hints like you're Taylor Swift, all cryptic and shit.
Yes. I am swifting our way through this. So the first tip is, we are not the Men in Black.
Okay.
We are not the
And
Men
then
in
on
Black.
the other tip, on yesterday's show, or Sundays, we also have the ability to erase your mind.
Oh.
Those are the only two tips right now
I'm
that
gonna
are
figure
out.
this out. I'm gonna figure this out.
Yeah, let's see. I'm looking up there like there's a clue.
Yeah, I'm like,
I was checking our audio level.
I was like, that ain't even your phone, bro.
Can you
He's
erase
out
your
already.
mind?
It's just your presence,
Not the
guys.
Men in Black.
It's just the aroma coming on.
Contact guy just hanging out.
I'm gonna be
Goddamn.
thinking of that. I'm gonna figure it out.
So you're gonna get one more tip before the 26th of the event.
Okay.
And this event, you don't have to have an Asian ID card.
An Asian ID
You
card?
don't have like
Asian?
To work. I'm an
Agent.
I'm not sure an Asian. Yeah, you don't have an Asian card. No, you just gotta have a driver's license. Driver's license. And be 21. And this event's free. Anybody can come. You don't have to work in the industry. It's open to public. They're not even charging people.
Nice.
That's so cool.
They got vendors gonna be there. They asked us to be there. I'm gonna throw it out real quick too. We just got asked on my way over here by Corinne of North to be their official media sponsor.
Wow.
So they're actually wanting to talk to us about that. So I was going to text you when she did.
That's big news.
That's really big news. That's so exciting.
So
me find it.
Yes.
that's how we found out. So
Love that.
basically, we've been doing this for a couple months now, and it's been a lot of fun. Like I told you from the get-go when we were on Podbean, I was motivated by the Tippy Jo Show. You guys were
appreciate
really
that.
killing it, getting it set up. We're in the studio that I did my first interview with you.
Yeah.
Or you had me for your first interview. The only one I really been on besides this one. So that's an honor too. But yeah, things have came a long way. Our dream was to get on Spotify. We made it happen. What sucks is every time you do this, I don't know if this happens to everybody or if it's just stoners. I got real medicated and I came up with our logo. Got business cards with QR codes to link it to Podbean. So what's the best thing to do 2 days after you do that? After you purchase it, go from Podbean to Spotify, and then have 500 cards, and you're like, "Am I going to handwrite Spotify?"
Well, are you still on Podbean as well?
I'm not. I'm retired,
no.
so I paid an extra month on that. So it gets worse than that, Tippy. So this is the beginning part. So we got the cards, went to Spotify. Those are obsolete. Got new cards come in with the YouTube and Spotify, because now we're on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify. Then your husband here came up with a fucking awesome ass logo. So now I got 500 of these cards that don't have my Show Me Green co-host on the damn card too. So I really think we're not going to change shit. I think we're going to be good. I think we're just going to keep progressing. But after we get the next cards, he's already talked about merch. We're going to talk about trying to get some hats and shirts.
Heck yeah.
That's also coming from people listening. It's
Hey,
crazy.
listen, I'm real big on supporting local, so
Hell yeah.
once you get a shirt,
You know you got one for sure.
need
For
one.
sure. You get the first one. I'll make sure I deliver the first one. And then I have to give the second one to your husband for helping me get the show started, because honestly he was a big part of it to get me going. And like after I came in and sat in and seen how he how calm and chill it was just to sit and talk to people. And we were talking about mental health at that point.
Yeah.
That's not the easiest thing to talk about.
Nope.
We talk about bud.
Yeah.
People like bud.
Yeah.
So I mean, there was a big difference, but it was showing me then like how different things could be, and how big the audience is, the variety of people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's amazing.
It's cool because like I feel like you guys hit the ground running. Like I know you don't feel like you did, but like whenever you guys first started, you were like, "Oh, I'm just doing this and this." But
So
I was
nervous.
listening.
So
but
nervous.
the thing was like, your audio wasn't the best. It sounded like you were like talking to the coffee cans across the room. Like one guy's holding the microphone in the can, and the other guy's got the string pulled tight.
Yeah.
But then but the nice thing is you guys were producing really good, like, interesting content. So it didn't matter that, like, your audio was a little wonky in the beginning because you guys were giving, like, legit, like, knowledgeable answers to questions that people had.
Yeah.
Because I got my cultivation license whenever it first became legal, and we were like, hey, we should just try this out because there were no dispensaries open.
Right.
We had our medical card, so we're like, okay, well, what the fuck do we do now? So we were like, oh, well, let's get our cultivation license. I had no fucking idea what I was doing. She was doing Amazon reviews and getting like free products. So we're like, hey, grow lights.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we had a bunch of free grow lights.
Oh, yeah.
And we literally we grew it. And it was so much
Were they
fun.
for succulents? Because that was my first mistake. My first grow lights were succulent lights.
Oh, see,
No, these
They were
were
like this. Oh, you actually got
like
big ones.
they were big
She's like, I read the
panels.
review.
Yeah,
I got
knew
it.
what was
Okay.
going on.
They weren't, but they don't put off as much light as what you actually need. Like you get what you pay for.
Right, that's
basically.
right.
And
That's
so
true.
that's what I learned from
And I
listening
didn't
to
pay
you
anything
guys.
for
Yeah, we didn't
them,
pay anything for it.
If that
We
tells
got
you.
our money's worth.
Sure.
So whenever we started, like, we were getting nothing. It was fun to watch. I had a great time doing it, but I was disappointed because I wasn't actually getting hardly anything off of it. I was getting no yield. So I was like, I don't know. And I was going to the internet looking up stuff. But, dude, everybody's like, 24-hour light cycle, 18-hour light cycle. Do this. Don't do that. Do this. Don't do that. It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck do
Yep.
I actually do? And then whenever I started hearing you guys talk about it, I was like, man, I should start trying to grow again because I like the way you guys break it down
Yeah.
for, like,
Yeah.
any level.
Well, like whenever I started growing about 5 years ago,
5.
and that 5, the biggest complaint that I guess not really complaint, but the biggest lack that I found was somebody that actually gave clear instruction and not telling you everything that you're doing is wrong, but saying, you know, I know exactly that your first grow is not going to go well. But what you need to focus on is improving one thing on your next one. And then every time you do that, your grow is going to get better and better every time. You don't have to start with all the fancy equipment because it's super expensive.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
over $1,000 to get a small tent going,
Yeah.
you know? So start small and add on every time as you can, you know? And that's really the reason that I wanted to. Me and Travis, I'd go over to his house.
Yeah, I was pushing
All the
weed, I ain't
time.
gonna lie. So I was the weed man, but he was buying, I started growing before him. And he was into my grow, and I actually was it's tent grow is a lot easier than outdoor grow to me because you control so much more. You have control of the environment and everything, even if you start out with a weak system. Normally, you know, and plus mine was in a garage, so it was already insulated and everything. So he seen mine, and I was growing big buds, and he got started, and he just took it to a whole nother level. And that's why I brought him on the podcast, because when I started doing this, I love the people. I love the industry. I love talking to the customers. I love people. I also grew. I've also sold weed. I know about weed. Now I know the science of why I love weed. Didn't know it before. It just made me giggle. But, you know, like now it's nice to be able to help people. And we talked about my last episode. Salve is out there. It's one of the most top buy-in products. And it don't get you high. You know what I mean? So like it helps. It helps people in many different ways. So I wanted to be the people, kind of like Tippy on her show. Like she's the life, she's the cheer. You look at her, you just smile with joy. Like you know, this is gonna be a good time. It is. It brings people in. It makes their vibe. People feed off that vibe.
Oh, yeah.
I had to have him on for that reason. Like his flowers through the roof. He took basic little knowledge that we had and we tried breaking it down because big terminology is scary.
Yeah.
And that's why boy Travioli here, because he'll say some big words, and I know that I might know what some of those are just because of my industry, but like I know some people don't, and my mama told me that. So like, thanks, Mom. Shout out, Mama. So I try to dummy it down every now and then, and it's just because sometimes people are new.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to scare them away with terminology.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's already scared. The price of growing the shit's already.
Well, it is. People get scared away just from looking at the price of seeds.
I think the way you guys break it down, though, it's not only educational, but it's engaging as well. Like, learning this stuff is like, okay, I could go on the internet, I could do my research, I can get lost down the rabbit hole, I can find all this shit that contradicts what I just read before and be confused as fuck. But you guys are very straightforward with it, like, hey, you know, maybe you're having this problem, here's how you solve it. You know, like, you break it down so user-friendly, and I love that. And I feel like you guys are opening the door for so many more people to try it out, because it is scary to get into something like that when you're dropping money into it. Maybe you've never even gardened at all before. Maybe you're not a plant person, but you want to try to grow your own medicine, you know?
Yep.
You guys are the tool that these newbies need and that they're going to use. And I think that's awesome.
Well, thank you,
Thank
Tippy.
you.
Well,
It's
you're
big,
welcome.
it's a big help too.
Thank you guys.
It's a big help that my homeboy runs a grocery store too.
No,
Like,
yeah.
I was with him through the beginning of all this too. The same time I started the industry, he started the grocery store. So like it was hands to hand. He had everything I needed, and motherfucker's knowledgeable too.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Hell
I was
of
calling
knowledgeable
him.
dude.
I was calling him every week and asking him stuff about my grow.
And
Yeah.
he took time to answer.
He
us.
did.
Like,
Yeah.
he's just he's all around good dude. So it made it easier for me to go in there and like not buy the wrong thing. There was times I wanted to be like, dude, this is cheaper. And he's like, yeah, but this is what you really want. If anything you want to cut back, don't cut back on this. So it's like, so shout out to him out there at Main Street. So.
Yeah, that's Joe at Main Street Grow Supply. They're a sponsor of the show.
aka
Yeah.
Willie, aka
Sponsor of the
Joe,
Tippy
J.
Jo Show, you know?
Yeah.
Willie.
Oh,
yeah, he was on one of my shows. That's still him and my mom. You know how they show the analytics of the podcast, which I freaking love. I look at it too much. I need to wait so much more inside. You know what I'm saying? But my mom and my top 2 episodes teeter-tot between Interview with Mama C, which was my mom, and it was my first interview on Spotify.
Nice.
And then Willie, Joe, that one, they're worn off, and they're back
I
and
think
forth.
it's so funny that you call him Willie because that's not his name.
No, it's not.
But it was
That was his Facebook
Yes.
name, and it was Willie.
Willie
Last
Fister.
name Fister, Phistr.
People are coming up to me. I happen to be wearing his hoodie, and he's like, "Oh, you know Willie?" And I'm like, I don't know one fucking Willie, bro. I know Willie Nelson. I don't know any fucking Willie. He's like, "You're wearing his hoodie," and I look down, and I'm like, "Oh,
that's
fucking
great.
Joe."
Yeah.
Here's another fun fact about Joe: is like everybody does call him Joe, except people that might have known him ever since kindergarten. And he went by Jay.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm probably the only
Yeah.
person that probably still calls
He
him
told
that.
us that the other day. He was like, Travis is like one of the few people
Yeah.
who still call me Jay.
I'm the only one, and I know that he's out of that past, but it's like he's just been my dude forever.
Oh
so.
yeah, we love Joe down there. And
Good
you're
people.
exactly right. And so now they just started a thing where you can rent their
Trim bags. Yeah.
What?
So that is really cool. So they're
Yes.
offering that now. I think they just announced that
Well,
today.
guess
They did,
what?
yeah.
You know, I just brought you. You know what's about to
You
happen.
did.
Mine's hanging in the tent right now.
Oh,
This
yeah.
That is
beautiful
untrimmed. That is Freak Show that he actually donated out to the people that donated school supplies.
Yeah,
so
for the backpack
we were
program.
able to
That's
work
really,
with that.
really cool.
So yeah, that got done the other day. I looked at it. Trichomes were done. I chopped her down, put her in the tent, and I might look into that trim bin. Or that trim. What's it? Trim. You just
Trim
put
bag.
it in.
I don't know
Trim
what
bag.
yeah, it seems
Trim
like I
bag.
guess you put it in there and you just like shake it. Is that how
I'm
those
pretty
work?
sure it has the different layers with the different size mesh screens in it.
So
So when you
Oh,
shake
okay.
it, you get all of your good stuff, all the bad stuff stays, and like you can open it up and you know.
Interesting.
You know, I haven't really looked into those. So.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're containing all the everything, Keith.
Yeah.
So as long as you,
Yeah.
as long as you don't lose that Keith.
Well, and that's what it looked like. So the whole thing looks like it is. It's a big bag, and the whole thing seals from the top. And I'm assuming it is something that
Oh,
you
we'll have to
kind
go
of
down there and check
clean.
that out.
Yeah.
For sure.
So-
Yeah, I got some in the dry tent right now also, and I've been looking at buying trim bowls and anything. That's the worst part of growing.
Yes, trimming is the worst. My favorite meme I ever seen. This might be a little rated R, but it's a cartoon, so I'm taking it back to PG-13. It's a red car. You can't see the dude. The girl's bent over. She's wearing a red dress. She's a lady of the night, some would say. Says that she'll do anything for $50.
Oh,
And his response is, "Do you know how to trim?" I'd pay $100 for that. I've had people come over. It
That's
happens
funny.
once. We talked about this. I think people come help you once.
And then they're like,
Yeah.
fuck
And
that
then
shit,
they're
never
like,
again.
that was fun.
They're like, I don't even want to do this for my own shit.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is fun whenever it gets dense enough, though, that you take time and you sit there and you've grown it. You look at this bud, you trim it. Even that, what I gave you, you guys are going to trim. You didn't grow it, but you're going to trim that. And you're going to let it hang, and then you're going to trim it, and then you'll be able to smoke it and be like, damn, I kind of took part in that.
Oh yeah,
That's gonna be
was-
cool.
That was my favorite thing about growing our own. Like, it felt like, honestly, I felt like it hit smoother than anything I had ever smoked before. I was like, man, like something about this is just so easy. Like, so I really, really enjoy it. Like, and like I said, I didn't get very much. I had like. Probably not even like an ounce, and it was probably mostly just leaves that I fucking didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
But the best part about this whole story is we didn't have grow tents. That I mean,
It wasn't a
grow
thing.
tents were a
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
but they were very, very expensive at that
Right,
time because
right.
it had just became legal. So all that stuff was still through the roof, you know.
Right.
So to make a makeshift grow tent, Kyle builds a kill room in our
Yeah,
basement.
basically I have a Dexter room in my
Like
basement.
literally.
Plastic.
Oh, it's still there. So basically, what it is the whole room is it's like 6 foot by 4 foot wide, and then the whole thing is literally made of plastic. Like I stapled it to the ceiling, I draped it around the poles.
That is a
It's got
straight
a
Dexter.
frame and everything,
I have
but
a
yeah, if
door
you
flap
didn't
that
know,
opens up. I have boards wrapped around the bottom that are anchored into the basement floor to keep moisture from getting into the bottom. Like,
And it's empty right now?
I've actually put my grow tent
it's got a
inside
couple
it.
dead bodies in there
Put
right
the
now.
grow tent in that
So you got to grow. I was going to say, if you haven't done that yet with your sink and swim and everything else
Oh,
you guys
yeah,
got,
I'd just make a
your
murder.
photography,
Yeah,
that is a
that is
Dexter
a good
Halloween's around the corner.
Oh
That is
yes,
a
that's a
good-
great
It's gotta come
idea.
out.
Now I gotta fucking clean out that room. Thanks a lot, Travis. Gosh, dang.
Well,
It
not
is
everybody has
terrifying,
a
though.
pre-Dexter
Yeah.
room hanging, bro.
So what I did is I fucked up whenever I set my tent up in there. I didn't realize my tent was the exact same height as my ceiling. So I put my whole tent up in there, and it literally rubs the ceiling, rubs the floor, so it's kind of wedged into this little plastic.
Yeah.
And I have no room to mount my vents on it anywhere.
Oh, yeah. You don't have side pockets you
No,
could
so
do?
I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to. But I've got an idea for moving it because I've got 2 like 4x4 tents, and I'm gonna move them into kind of an area. So
Nice, nice. You thinking about growing photos or autos?
I'm definitely gonna do photos just because I tried autos. So my thing I didn't like about autos is they didn't get very tall.
Right.
So like immediately, I was like, they can't be flowering already. It's fucking what the fuck? Got 3 branches on this fucking Charlie
Yeah.
Brown Christmas tree.
Yep, I get that.
And the cool thing I liked about the photo was I really enjoyed doing clones.
Yeah,
I'm
just keeping it
just
going.
watching them grow. Like
It is.
I literally
It's-
just liked watching them grow.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was something like I'm not the kind of person to fucking take care of plants. I'm not the kind of person to enjoy gardening. But something about like you can literally see growth every single day.
Yeah, and he was tending to that
Dude,
shit
yeah.
like no other.
Like I was taking care of those plants better than I take care of my kids. I'm like, Like, every day I was down there like, what's happening?
He's like, you thirsty, baby? And I'm like, I just got the kids drink. He's like, I'm not fucking talking to them.
But yeah, every day, man. And everybody that came over, I was like, come and check this out. Our whole house smelled like weed. I was like, everybody
No,
came
you
over, they're like, we
pull up.
know you're fucking growing weed
Yeah.
here.
So besides the research, did you help too, Tip?
Oh, a little bit. Yeah, I help to trim and hang and
The
everything
trim.
like that. And I
She
help to
helped trim.
smoke, of course.
It's like anybody can help do that. Please, anybody can help trim.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun.
It is so much fun. Like, I just enjoyed watching it happen.
I'm hoping my mom buys this property next to mine, and if she does, we're gonna have basically that quarter at Davis Crossing, which is gonna be the shit. And I would love to do a greenhouse in between the property back
yeah.
here where
Oh,
the
yeah.
fire pit is, and it's just because that's east to west, it's perfect sun. I'm pretty off the road right there, but trimming, man. Like, I don't want to grow everything just to make hash. I did that before.
Yeah.
I didn't want to trim shit, and I'm like, bubble hash for a week.
yeah.
We sat there, I went down there and bought me a machine, and I washed the shit out of that weed. And I had hash, and everybody. But I made everybody happy, though, because, you know, that was one thing. The part of me that felt like Elvis that would love just to give it anything I have just to make somebody happy. And that hash took a lot of weed. That hash takes like an ounce for Fuck, maybe a quarter.
Really,
It depends on the terps and trike and everything, but
yeah, I mean,
I think I was getting about 5 grams out of an ounce.
Are you pressing it when you make
No, so
hash?
bubble hash, I put it in a bag and put it in ice and water and turn this machine on, and it spins and washes it and
that's
agitates
cool.
it. And it has these little micron bags in there that actually will let it all go through there, and then we sift it through the bag. And in fact, we're getting ready to do colder temperatures coming. We're going to do a couple special episodes now that we're on YouTube.
Nice.
And he likes doing hash during the winter because it's better turnout. So
yeah, you get a lot better yield. Well, it's a lot easier to handle the product too. You know, like with weed, heat is its worst enemy. You know, it evaporates the terpenes, it dries it out, makes it harsh on your lungs.
coughing.
You know, so heat is just, it's terrible for weed. It really is. So the more you can do to preserve your terpenes and the colder you can keep it, the better it is. You don't want to keep it in the fridge or anything like that.
More effective it'll be, which is why you're smoking it.
But yeah, it's a lot easier to handle whenever it's cold. Collection process, because I think you're working with oil glands, you know, so they're sticky, you know, whenever you break open a bud and your fingers get all stuck together, and the heat just makes that even worse. So
Just liquidifies it like syrup, like honey.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, so we just wait for the winter, and that's when I make sure that I got some good runs coming up to be done in December or January time frame. That way we can really utilize.
Because it is it's nice to go around and be like, here's some hash. Oh, I ain't had hash forever.
So do you just use like clippings for that? I'm assuming just like trim, or do you have to use actual? Oh, okay.
You don't have to. Actually, the first time that I washed, I did it with trim because I wanted to know how the process was before I devoted a bunch of plant to it. You know. And
use the same washing machine I have?
No. I have an Aether grain setup, so it's like a stainless steel cold drum.
Yep, see, mine's plastic. Go ahead, Joe.
Where was I was making hash.
Making hash.
Oh, yeah, so... what part of making hash was I?
So we were talking about using flour instead of trim whenever you first started, just so you didn't spend the money.
Good job,
Hey man,
Thanks
I'm
for
a
getting me
stoner
back.
too. Hey,
Thanks for getting
I've
me
been
back.
on y'all's podcast. You guys to bring me back from time to time.
Sometimes you gotta reel me in. You know?
Where am I?
Hey guys, it's Tippy here from the Tippy Jo Show, and I want to talk about mental health. You guys know that we are huge mental health advocates, and we are all about getting the help that you need. And one great way to do that is with BetterHelp.com. BetterHelp.com is the world's largest therapy network, and it is 100% online. And with over 30,000 licensed and experienced professionals, there is definitely somebody there that is going to suit your needs. It's so easy to get started. You just answer a couple of questions about your therapy needs, and they'll match you with a therapist that's right for you. But if for whatever reason that therapist isn't a good fit for you, you can switch to a new therapist, no problem. And BetterHelp makes it super easy to communicate with your therapist. You can text, you can call, you can video chat, whatever feels right to you, they're there waiting to listen. And the best part is you can get 10% off your first month's service by going to betterhelp.com/thebarn. That's betterhelp.com/THEBARN. Bye.
Looking to cultivate your own cannabis? Visit Main Street Grow Supply, your local one-stop shop for all things cultivation and more. Located at 101 West Main Street in Park Hills, Missouri, Main Street Grow Supply offers a wide range of top-quality products and expert advice to help you grow your best crop yet. Whether you're a seasoned grower or just starting out, their knowledgeable staff is there to guide you every step of the way. From premium soils to state-of-the-art grow lights, Main Street Grow Supply has everything you need to nurture your plants from seed to harvest. So why wait? Visit Main Street Grow Supply today at 101 West Main Street in Park Hills, Missouri, and let them help you grow with confidence. Main Street Grow Supply, cultivating community one plant at a time. By the way, we haven't even introduced who these guys are. So this is Travis and Show Me of the East of Elvins 310 podcast.
Yep. Representing.
Yeah.
But yeah, after I used the trim the first time, then I knew on my next round kind of what to expect for the water ratios and your ice ratio and everything that the amount of flour that you want to put in to get best yields. And then from there, that's when you really start everything has to be tracked really closely with your numbers for the amount of product that's going in and what your end yield is. And then that helps you kind of determine your cultivars. And then also you have to think you also have a million other things that go into that, such as the terpene profile. How the trike heads, how their cuticle actually is, if it's oily or a sandy consistency. So after we get all that figured out, that's when we take it over to freeze dryer and hit it for 24 hours.
Freeze dryer.
Bubble hash and put it right into a rosin press.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so this is gonna be top notch shit. So it's dispensary shit. Mine was old school shit.
Yeah.
So this is how they did it back in the day. That's how Show Me Green does
Kind
it.
of like Moroccan hash.
But back in the
style.
day, they used to use 5-gallon buckets and water and ice, and they'd sit there and they would just chomp at it, breaking that stuff up.
Just
and
like
then
churning
filtering it.
butter, huh?
I just had the lazy way and have a plastic one at turn. But like when mine gets done, I don't get as pretty color and blonde as he does. Mine's gonna be a little darker because it's gonna have more of that plant matter in it. It's not gonna filter out as much as like he was talking about. His turns out it's like pure blonde or almost white. It's beautiful. But if you would have shown somebody that back in the day and told them it was hash, they would have said you were lying.
Yeah, for sure.
That ain't hash. Hash we roll up in a log or we put on a knife. Have you guys ever done a hot knife?
Knifers, yes.
You've done it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't do that until I was probably 25, and it was just because I was like, I've never done it, and somebody actually had some, and I'm like, it was cool. Put it just like my grandma did right underneath that burner. And
Yep.
Your hash was just like Ricky's from Trailer Park Boys.
Well, I kinda,
Just like, man, hash
kinda
coin.
like-
He had a hash coin press and everything.
I do have a hash coin press. I do got a little trailer park voice in me a little
That's
bit.
funny. Everybody's got a little trailer park boys.
We do, especially down in this area. Especially down in this area. Yeah, but speaking to Kren too, on behalf of you, Tippy, on your show, she definitely was a big fan. I told her I was. I had to
that's
quit talking to
awesome.
her and told her I was coming over to the interview, and I told her I was a little bit nervous. And she's like, don't be, you know, that's silly. It just kicks in, but I'm like, no, I'm a little nervous. She's like, well, make sure you tell her hi, because she really enjoyed the Afro Man, like the events we had down there and stuff you work. So she's putting on a lot of these events too. So if you guys ever want to come up,
Heck yeah.
I think it'd be good.
I think everything you guys are doing is so cool. You guys did the putt pass.
Putt, puff, pass.
Yeah.
Over 100 vendors. There was so many people there.
Yeah, there was a lot.
I have never been so high in my life. Your boy Travioli.
See, I find that hard to believe.
I know.
I can say
When
he's like,
did we
I've
not
never been
have
that
somebody
high on
handing
a
us
golf
something?
course.
Yeah.
Well,
Gotta have
every
specifics
hole-
in that statement.
I mean, every hole that you went to, there was vendors set up, and they'd hand you
Freebies.
edibles. They'd hand you pre-rolls,
Drinks, stirrables,
Yeah.
They'd have dab bars.
dab bars.
Dang.
I feel like you got to do it while you're right there, right?
You're right there. You gotta get on that.
Rude not to.
Right. Before you take the golf cart to the next place, you gotta make sure you hit all 4 of those at that
and
hole.
they're sending
that's
samples
great.
with you.
Sometimes they had 4 at one hole.
Really? Oh my god.
It was like it was almost like the Weed Olympics that everybody missed
Oh
out on.
yeah.
Wait
I
for
thought
you
I
to get
saved that the
scheduled
other day.
back.
I thought I saved it. I was like, oh my gosh, I have audio, but then I have audio for like you, me sometimes, you every once in a while.
That was-
We gotta
We're
get that
gonna
rescheduled.
We will.
Yeah.
We will. We'll get it pretty
Yeah,
close.
why
back.
not?
Nothing
Yeah,
from that? Nothing left from that?
We have the
Tippy.
video and we have the audio
As
just
my
from his
last, as my
computer.
last guest that was on, Mr. Tyler, and we call him River Ty. I have malfunctions sometimes. He's like, we gotta check this now in the middle of my show. I can see the spike, but I'm on the side with the computer. So
Yeah.
like now I'm just like, all right, we're doing mic check. I see everybody talking. All right, we're good. Then we start over again.
Great.
But it's just how it rolls.
Just so everybody knows what we're talking about. So I went out for East of Elvins 310
Yes.
podcast, and I get out
3
there.
times he's been out there.
Yeah, I've been out there a
One
couple
time
times.
rhetorical.
So I get out there and it's like, I walk in and they're like, oh, hey, we're doing the Weed Olympics. I was like, oh, okay. And it's like they've got 4 different strains and they're just passing it around. And we're all like really fucking stoned. Like they started before I got there and like
We're
I
40
started in
minutes
and I was
in.
like losing fucking track around like, how are you guys fucking doing this? And then what is that hammer thing that you had, the chill?
Oh, the hammer bubbler.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that was like the smoothest hitting
Yeah,
thing
the freeze
ever.
pipe.
Yeah.
The glycerin coil in it.
Yeah, it was amazing. So like we're out there just fucking blazed out of our minds, and then at the end, at the end, he's like, "Hey, I was looking at how to set up your audio for your video
After we
stuff
were done.
After we were done, and then I got to looking, I was like, hey Travis, how'd you record this? He's like, what do you mean? And I was like, your mixer's not plugged in.
Oh no!
But we all had on headphones, and it was all plugged directly into the headphone output, so we could all hear it.
We could all hear each other.
Shit,
It sounded
that's a
live as shit.
trick.
Like, I hate that you guys
It was
get
such a fucking good
It
show.
was a
I
really
was
good
so
one.
I was like, I told Tiffany, I was like, man, I was like, that we talked about like such good shit on that show.
It was really good. And, you know, like, I felt bad though, because like I noticed after a couple of days that it didn't come on, but I didn't hear anything from Travis. Right? I'm like, okay, we lost the episode. And I was like, but he feels so bad about it, you know? So I was
It's
like,
hard.
It was
I
equally
waited
my
until
fault.
Sunday.
We were both so stoned, and he's like,
We all were, man.
he was like, oh, I'm gonna save it real quick, and he's like, oh, I saved it, and then he emailed it to me, and I was like, this is your last episode.
Oh my gosh,
Note to self: always change the title of your recording.
Oh yeah,
that's hilarious. He
Dude,
was
it was
so
the Wii
sad when he
Olympics.
came home, though. He was like, man, I was the funniest I've ever been.
I was really just stoned out of my mind. I was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, life lessons. I'm glad it happened with friends.
Explain what the Weed Olympics was real quick.
Well, I had 5 different strains that all came down. They just came out of cure, and we haven't tried any of the flavors. You know, I had held off on trying all of them before.
You did too?
Yeah.
Damn,
yeah, I
bro.
sure did.
Wow.
Yep, and then I was like, all right, man, we're having a tasting, right?
Yeah.
And we get there, we're like, we're doing the Weed Olympics, all right? So then I was like, all right, we broke out all 5 of them across the table, started packing cones.
Oh, yeah.
Travis already had a blunt rolled up, so we were hitting a blunt while we were packing cones.
Oh my gosh.
Just pre-game, you're like, we gotta smoke this blunt before we smoke these joints.
Learned that
Just
from
how it
Ramblin'
happened.
Noel, huh? Smoked 2
Just how it
joints before I
happened.
smoked 2
That's
joints.
right.
But you know, at the same, like I say, it was the Weed Olympics. We were stoned out of our minds, so couldn't hold anything against you, man.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
I know
yeah.
you felt terrible. Don't hold anything against you on that.
Shit
Honestly, I don't feel
happens,
bad. Now we get to do it
though.
again.
Exactly. That's what I said in that I did Facebook post. I said, well, guess we gotta do it
Yeah.
again.
So that's the sad thing. This ain't your boy's first time that's happened. That's why whenever Tyler knew I had malfunctions. The other time that's happened, I had an incredible show with Enlightened Jay, and he sung. He fucking popped out of nowhere and started singing a song. I'm like, what the fuck? And it was great. And then we get done, and I'm like, everybody's saying they can't hear it. Somebody paid me $10 because they thought you had to pay to listen to. I have $10 on Podbean. I have $10 on Podbean that I don't know how to fucking get to because they're like, oh, we couldn't hear it, and they're
Yeah.
probably stoner.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Guess I gotta pay.
I guess I'll pay.
Hang on,
'cause
guys. I'm
nothing's
gonna
free.
mute this real quick. You guys want to hear the rest of this?
Right. So I don't even know who she is, but I got $10. And then I told Enlightened Jay, I'm like, dude, we got to go out because he was building the studio. I'm like, he's already this dude cut every board before he went in there and built it and put it together like a puzzle because we were shooting a video and he cut every 2x4 and plywood out there on the outside. Major impressive. Then we moved the studio outside and did it on my basketball court. But it wasn't as good, but it was good. But we had to get back because we respect our listeners and followers just like you guys do.
Yeah.
Like it's cool people tune in for 30, 40 minutes and whether they're smoking or chilling, a lot of them are working at work. Some work
Some
working
are
for the
hiding at
highway
work.
department. They're working highway department at nighttime.
Oh,
I'm like,
gosh.
dude, that's awesome. You're building highways at night listening to East Elvins podcast.
Ain't
Get
that
the fuck
wild
out.
when people tell you they listen to your show? It's just like, part of me is like, why? And then the other part of me is like, hell yeah, you know?
Right.
Like, why us over other things, you know? But I'm appreciative, of course, and like, that's fucking
especially
awesome.
when they hit you with content that you talked about.
I know, and then you really know. Because,
Like-
you know, people will tell you, they're like, oh, I love your show, listen all the time. And you're like, name one episode. And they're like, you know? They're lying.
That's very, very true.
So we have a thing going on where I've been giving out one number of my social security number every couple episodes.
Oh.
And by the end of like a certain amount of time, you can steal my identity if you want.
Yeah,
But you gotta listen.
You gotta,
to every
You just never
you gotta
know.
subscribe and follow. Not only his,
No.
not only his podcast, not
Easter
only her
egg.
podcast, you gotta listen to our podcast too to get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you get
because
that.
he did
Yeah,
go
yeah.
on there.
Yeah, I left one number on their podcast. Get access to that $18.95 I got in the bank.
fucking
If you're there
real.
before noon tomorrow. But Tippy, we would like you to come out on our studio.
Yeah, that would be so
I got
fun.
3 seats. There's 2 of us, and you come on out.
Hell
and
yeah.
Set in, and we gotta wait on the Weed Olympics unless we gotta have one with just you.
Okay,
I
well,
would like
I'm
to have-
not a weed Olympic type of
Right,
person,
that's
okay?
all right.
Because I get
What if we
extremely
roll
introverted.
tiny joint?
She'll
Oh, I'll
stop
smoke a
talking.
little bit.
She'll
Okay.
stop talking.
Yeah. It's like, do you want me to be extroverted, or would you prefer I just sit quietly? This is what happens
Is
when
it
I
a
get real
Saturday Night
stoned.
Live character?
No,
It wouldn't be?
I curl into a little ball when I get too stoned, and then I'm very quiet and I just sit.
That would be hard to do on a stool.
And you know,
Yeah.
in order to do my job, this is not really how I do my job.
We don't have to do that, but yeah, it's just good conversation. Just getting people out there to hear, like your crowd of people, his crowd, everybody's crowd of people. It's great that eventually they can find us all together.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I
it's
love
crazy that all this
collabing.
shit's happening in this county.
Oh, it is crazy. We talk about that
All
all
the
the
We
time.
podcasts
do.
and network. Yeah, I'm sure you guys do, but to me, it's still like fucking wow.
Yeah.
Really?
It is wild.
I go to the city and look. They apparently had other podcasts. All due respect, don't know who they are. Much respect, don't know yins. We've kind of taken over some of the events up there.
No, I completely.
And it's like, that's awesome. That ain't St. Francis County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're Jefferson County.
That's Jefferson County.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
Woo!
awesome.
But no. Shout out on up. Eventually we'll get South County.
Making all the lateral moves.
Oh, that's funny. That's the cool thing, I think. I feel like, so you guys have seen the same thing. The podcast has given us the opportunity to just do such cool things and
And meet
connect
so
with
many
such cool
amazing people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Networking is everything.
Absolutely,
I don't know
100%.
why it took me this long. I am 44. No, not 40 years old. I'll be 41.
He's like 44. Never mind. Everybody else looks a little bit younger than that.
83. I'll be 41 in December. But yeah, it's just seeing it. No, this hasn't been happening. Nothing like this has happened.
Oh,
down
yeah.
here. And like being 40 and seeing it and waiting until I was this old to do it. Like, why didn't I do this before?
Yes. It's crazy. I would have loved doing
I don't
this
know
shit
if
when
the
I was a
industry
kid.
did it.
Like, it would have just been a ball.
Yeah, it would have.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm no different now than I was in high school.
Yeah.
In fact, year 2 in the industry, 20-year class reunion. I wanted to go to that so fucking bad.
You didn't go?
I was the assistant manager of the dispensary.
Oh.
So the industry that I love so much has held me back for so long because of the position I hold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not complaining, but whatever. But it was like a miss out, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit. So like being in the industry and being 2 years in, having those same people come up to you
Oh,
that I didn't know before then, you know, and like wondering how was your back surgery you had, or person never smoked, like we talk about all the time, person didn't smoke before, come in to tell you thank you because they never tried cannabis before, and they're 40, 50 years old.
Out here
Oh, yeah.
changing lives. I
It's
love
crazy.
it. It is wild.
But it's good stories, it's rewarding. So it's cool taking that part of the aspect to, yeah, let's get high and hang out because I'm that guy too.
Yeah.
But it's nice helping people. It's rewarding.
Yeah.
And you're helping people with your voice and just going out there. These
right.
events,
I do what I
all
do,
the
you know?
events, you know, the mental health people. There's other people. It's crazy now how many people are wanting to talk about mental health now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Very beautiful thing. You know, I think that's something that people don't understand. Like, you might be the same way. I'm a good person, and I know I'm a good person, but honestly, it's a little bit selfish of me being a good person because I get high as hell off other people's joy. You know, I love
You're taking this-
spreading
that's-
the happiness. You
Hell
know,
yeah,
like if I
tip.
do something for you and that's cool for you and that brings you joy, like I'm on cloud 9. That's cool shit. Like
It's a
I
high
get
on
that. I
itself.
brought you that joy, and that makes
100%.
me feel good. You know, I think if a lot of people kind of stepped back and looked at it that way, we'd have a lot more nice people because people love to be selfish. You know,
Yeah.
you just
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
be like, hey, don't do it for them, do it for your fucking self.
Yep.
Maybe that's the key. You know.
100%. And don't be scared to get out there and just be who you want to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's
You
a
know,
big thing.
that a lot of people hold back, and I was one of those people too. High school I was always goofy, but I didn't want to ever I would never done this. I would never been sitting here knowing I'm going to go on YouTube or something, going on social media, going on this and that. It just is a thing that I'm like, that never will be that, and it's fucking happening.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's bringing us all together.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's why I love weed.
Dude,
This is
I was gonna
exactly
say,
why I
is it
love
not funny
weed.
that they're all weed?
Oh yeah.
It is. Dude, I'm an introvert. I always have been.
That's how I am. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been an introvert. Yeah, as a kid, I grew up alone pretty much. Like, not really alone. My brothers, they were always gone, you know.
A little bit older.
But yeah. They're all 7 years and 5 years older, you know.
yeah.
So they were gone. And my dad, he was gone to California quite a bit because he'd commute back and forth. He was a captain of the fire department out there.
Oh. Okay.
So it was a lot of alone time. And that's kind of just how I grew up, was just holding on to my own information pretty much, you know.
Yeah.
And then after I finally got out of the military and linked back up with Travis here and got back smoking weed, that's pretty much, what actually brought me out of my shell. Yeah. Especially after being in the military for 9 years.
Oh yeah.
You know, so.
Being so solid, yeah. I can see that.
Yep.
That's how I was always. So I was never a drinker, but whenever I would drink, it would bring me out of my shell, and I could like interact with people.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the way it made me feel the next day, and I was like, man, that's fucking horrible. So then Tiffany, whenever we got together, she would smoke every once in a while, and then we went to Vegas for my birthday, and I was always like, that's illegal. I can't do that. That's illegal.
For a long time, I secretly smoked. Like, he didn't know
I would like
at
go into
all.
the bathroom and like, what is that
One
smell?
time he called me, one time he opened the bathroom door, I was in the bathtub smoking weed. He's like, what are you doing here?
No, I'm just
I'm calling the cops. No!
I called the cops on her right then. I made her sit on the porch till they got there. But yeah, every once in a while, and so then she was like, you should try this. And at first I couldn't figure out how to inhale, so I would just hold the smoke in my mouth and be like, nope. Don't work on me. And everybody fucking says that. Everybody, I'm like, hey, you should try this. Like, it's really worth giving it a try. They're like, I've tried it. It doesn't work. I'm like, you're not fucking doing it right then.
Yeah. There's a way. Or they also, back in school, when I was some of that class year, I fell off track there because of the weed. Hit the vape pen. The damn vape pen.
It'll get you.
20-year reunion, I didn't get to go because I was working. Joe didn't get to go either because he was running the shop. During that class reunion, we only had 38 people in our class. We went to
Very
Leadwood.
small, very small class, yeah.
So we were family. Your boy was a stoner back then as much as he is now.
No way.
So like back then, all these people I went to school with, I mean, they loved me. They enjoyed being around me, but they always were like, Travis has got weed. Travis is stoner.
Yeah.
He's got it. 20-year reunion, guess who wasn't at the reunion? Me and Joe. Joe's running a weed store and Travis is running the weed game.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone's like, fuck, we didn't bring
They're
weed
like,
because we thought they had
can you believe Travis? Right. Everybody's like, we don't got nothing. But I made me sit back and I really wanted to think about some of them bougier people of the smaller class that I was still friends with, but I just didn't agree on how they looked and talked to other people. That was my difference that was my negative part of me growing up is, you talk shitty to him, I'm not fucking with you.
That's a good way to be.
It was,
Yeah.
and it's the easiest thing to do if you just live your life that way. So not being there, I just wanted to look at them and be like, I know that they were like, they're fucking still smoking weed and getting paid. Can't even come to their class reunion because the motherfuckers are dealing weed.
Yeah.
And it's awesome because we have insurance. We make good money.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm selling weed. Ain't got insurance.
And I got insurance. Yeah.
Don't even the fucking drink.
Don't even pay
You
for
would
it.
have told me this when I was 16 years old. I'm like, you're out of your fucking mouth.
I would have raised my hand in 4th grade and stood up and be like, I want to be a drug dealer like Snoop did. Remember that Snoop Dogg song? What you want to be when you grow up, Snoop? I want to be a motherfucking hustler. It's little Travis there, 4th grade.
I like that. Like, you come over, meet Travis, like, oh yeah, let's just grow some, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna take this to an extreme and learn everything I can possibly learn about it.
And retain it.
That blows my mind that you can just like know it off the top of your head. I got notebooks everywhere that I'm like, oh, if I don't write this shit down, I'm never gonna remember any of this. So
Passion.
Yeah, I mean, weed is pretty much the only thing that I'm that way with.
yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
When
straight
it comes to it,
passion.
I can retain it. I'm very fortunate in that way. I don't know why.
What do you think it was
but
about cannabis that kind of sparked that interest in you?
I felt right when I started smoking. it made me feel right.
Nice.
And it brought me out of the shell, because I was in the shell, especially post-military and everything. So it did. I started feeling better. And then hanging out with Travis and watching him grow. And then I was like, you know what?
Put on
Why
your
not,
jump on
man?
the saddle,
Travis is like, dude, you should take and start growing. And I did. And the second that my first seedling that popped, I went up to my wife and I was like, I'm going to be doing this until I'm dead.
I love that.
Just knew you were hooked right then.
I knew instantly, as soon as it did.
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Grow
there
your
it
own
was.
supply.
I was like, I need
It's
to know
amazing.
everything that I can about this. I want to know everything that I can. I want to know health benefits. I want to know the terpenes. I want to know the chemical compounds. I want to know best ways to process it, make it pure, make it healthy for people. And when I wasn't at work, I was studying, I was reading books, I was on YouTube. Any information that I could get from it, I'd go over to the grow shop and they would be looking at me like, dude, what are you doing? I was just walking around looking at the different hydroponic lines.
Like, this guy's on drugs, not the ones we're on.
He's like, it's all right. I know Travis. It's okay.
And then that curiosity has never gone away. And now I want to take the next step. I want to take and make my own strains, because cannabis is constantly evolving.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's amazing about it. And look at the ways of consumption that we have now, compared to like the brass pipes that we started with, or
God damn.
Soda cans.
Soda
Yes.
cans.
Everybody knows that hit to the
Soda
throat.
cans, an apple.
Apple.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And it's constantly evolving, and it like there's so much light that's being shown on it right now, and it just seems like it's just the beginning of that light for what this plant can really do for all of us.
Oh yeah.
Not even just the medical side, not just the recreational side. Take it fucking OG way back, like paper, ropes.
Oh yeah.
Like that's some of the toughest ropes that I read.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I didn't read that shit. I heard it from somewhere. But they said hemp rope was some of the strongest
It's
rope back
funny.
then, you
So
know?
like whenever I was in Canada for like 6 months, and there are hemp stores all over, and what they do is they just sell hemp product, like clothing, ropes,
bags,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Like, and they have them all over the place.
That's really cool.
So that's the one thing about the plant is that you can use
Do so
everything.
much.
It is
versatile.
So
incredibly sustainable and
Yes.
incredibly eco-friendly.
Yes.
And if they really, which I think we're coming into that for sure, like all the hemp products that we have now, but switching from all of the plastics that we have and over to hemp, that's going to be an incredible time for the entire world.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. And you can see things dwindling away.
Yeah.
oh,
You know,
yeah.
before I worked, which, you know, you all know I've worked the retail side forever, but being in the lab testing side now, it blows my mind of shit that I never really thought about. Like, our body can handle a lot, but our body ain't meant to handle everything.
Yeah.
So just because it can handle it doesn't mean it isn't, you know? And really, I started thinking about that shit about my psoriasis, which had happened when my dad died. It's hard for me to believe stress can trigger it, but it did. But, like, as it gets worse or something, what's making it get worse, you know? So then I started wondering and thinking, and like chromium is something like, if you take a bud and put it on a stainless till or a piece of chrome, just setting it there while you get your grinder and paper, or you roll that joint on there, that bud is pulling that chrome that metal's up to that bud, so it will fail for chromium, which is metal, and in the shot in lab. So like my mind instantly went, well, fuck, my grinder's still. Who owns a grinder that's still?
When you start thinking about it,
After that, I've not
everything,
done.
yeah.
I found hemp grinder. Shout out to Shredder.
The guy from Ninja Turtles?
It might be, dude. It might be.
Everybody hates that dude. You're like, shout out, bro.
It's Shredder, but they're made of hemp. They're grinders that are made of hemp. So like, if you can get a grinder that's already made of hemp,
All
then it made me
natural.
think about plastics, microplastics.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's all kinds of shit out there.
That's the thing. I think we're just we're barely seeing the tip of the iceberg
Oh, yeah.
for everything hemp or marijuana derived, because every day they're coming out with new strains that, hey, this does this now, or hey, this doesn't do this now. So like we talked on the show, on the Weed Olympics show, about like CBD and like all the things that, okay, well, used to they would say this, well, now they're saying it might do this instead. So they're finding new research almost every single day, and in all actuality what they're going to find is almost like marijuana's the cure for everything.
And they're coming up,
find the right strain.
they're coming up with fancy words too, like entourage. I mean, that was the first. I remember the first time I heard that when I was getting trained, because we were running a shop 6 months without weed, because Missouri was trying to get their shit together and grow some stuff. So like people were coming in with their med card. They've already had the motherfucker for a year.
Yeah. Ours
They already had it for
expired
a year
before a dispensary ever opened.
Literally.
I was like, well, I just got this bitch, and then I was like, why the fuck would I renew this shit? I just wasted a whole year.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
It's crazy to me how quickly it went recreational after going like
Happens every state.
So I've noticed that, but I felt like Missouri was like quicker than others. It seemed like it was like 3 weeks.
It was very fast, but I think that we're going to see that a lot more now too.
Yeah, I think once they see the revenue, the tax revenue from it, it's hard to not.
And what state's surrounded by what? Your state here is surrounded by so many states that are not legal. Oklahoma and Arkansas is medical.
Yep.
Other than that, it's illegal. Kentucky writes some bullshit laws. You can possess medical marijuana as long as you buy it from a medical facility, anywhere. There is no medical dispensaries in Kentucky.
Ain't that some bullshit? And you
But to
can't
get
cross
to
state
Kentucky,
lines.
you got to go through Illinois and Indiana. So you're going to traffic through 3 states, 2 states.
And they're gonna
to
get you
to
on
one.
that
But
shit,
if
huh?
you get there, they might, probably won't.
But they can't really.
but, you know,
Is it the same as what it was in the beginning? Like, they can't necessarily ask you where you've got that from. Like before, like whenever it came
when I
out.
started out in the industry, one of the things that they trained us to teach people, because we were teaching people more than anything at that point, was if you possess a medical marijuana card, it's not liable to what you keep your your marijuana in. Whether you want to keep it in a plastic egg, like I don't know why I used that as an example, or a sandwich bag.
Somewhere to keep your weed at Easter.
I guess you know where my eggs are going. That's where I hide mine. So I got some
Coming to your Easter egg hunt, son.
Or a
Hey,
bag
that's
or
an idea, though.
box.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea. We should put
Little
together an
boxes,
Easter egg
8s
hunt.
yes.
Dude, we should do a Tippy Jo, East of Elvins collab.
Easter egg. But
We meet
yes.
people.
that'd be fun.
We could
That
do
would
it
be
2 different ways. We could have people pay and donate the money to a charity, or just have it free for the community, and that's cool too.
That's
Either way,
both of
I'm
them are
down.
good.
Yes.
That maybe we run a poll on that to see what shit like.
Yeah.
But
That'd be
kind of
cool.
like how they do the diamond search around Christmas time. B104
Yeah,
does that at the radio
yeah.
station.
Yeah.
I've loved that since I was a kid. 3 years I went with my mom. My mom was such a stoner, and she's only 15 years older than me.
Let's get stoned and go look for this ring
No,
in the
not with
woods.
me. It was Travis.
That's
go do
wild.
chores. Mom over there doing work, and then we go to events, so it was cool.
Yeah.
But we'd go to parks, and I'm like, Mom, I'm tired of looking through this shit. I'm getting poison ivy. Like, fuck this diamond. You're getting it anyways. I ain't gonna get this 2-carat diamond. But I helped her look. But like, that was fun to go out and do that. And then plus, there's some other people that do some things like that. So like,
Hassle hunt.
Yeah,
I
they
used
do
to-
that with the
I used to
big-
get stoned and just go walk around the park looking for that. I was like, I don't care, man.
yeah.
that would be really good. That would be smart. But yeah, I like doing things for community. I ain't done that. We ain't been able to do that yet because we're just growing. But
Well, we're all about doing stuff for the community.
Hell yeah.
So
They're the ones
anytime you guys
listening.
have anything going on, like, give me a call. I'm happy to help.
oh yeah,
That's my jam.
Look for those pointers. That's why we're gonna have our own.
You know you're gonna get a lot more people out there looking for weed than for a diamond ring.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's what I was thinking. And I actually have the property to do it. So I actually have the yard to do a.
We'll have a stoner's Easter egg hunt.
We could do
Oh, that would be so
we could
fun.
set up both podcasts on my patio.
Listen, as soon as this goes off, we're planning.
Colt Ball, we need you to come play.
Yes,
He plays like reggae,
100%.
badass, like really
Colt is
cool stoner
fantastic.
music. Like
That would be
We
cool.
did a stairwell session with Colt. You can check it out on the Tippy Jo Show YouTube page.
yeah.
Yep, all have had some fresh hash made, so
Yeah.
there might
Show
be
me
a
a
special,
I got
might be a
hash.
special golden egg
Yeah.
somewhere out
Hey,
there that
that's
we
a
could
good
take it out.
idea.
We could do do something real
This would be really cool.
Yeah, this would be fun.
Yeah.
Oh my
we'll have to
gosh,
think about
gears
that.
are turning now. Listen, I'm an ideas factory, and I've got a million of them at all times, so I'm ready.
Well, I don't have paper and pencil, and I'm that dude, so you gotta remember for me.
It'll be like the day. It'll be the day before Easter. We're like, oh fuck. That's how we do things. We're like, oh fuck. PodCons this week. Cancel that shit.
That's awesome.
I didn't have any part in planning that, which is why.
Nobody had any part of planning that. That's why it's not happening.
The PodCon?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was excited about that at the
So we're
beginning.
just
but then we're
postponing
getting more
it.
stuff.
Yeah. So we just had so much stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
And then at the barn, all their sports stuff really took off. So we initially, when we started thinking about doing PodCon, we just had more time available. And then as it came time to work on PodCon, we had no time available.
Right, it takes
So-
a lot to do
Life
this.
happens.
Yes. So then we were like, hey, let's have a meeting about this. And Chad's like, okay, let's talk about it next weekend. And we're like, okay. So then we show up and we're like, he's like, okay, so when is this? We're like, next weekend. The thing is next weekend. He's like, oh, shit. So, yeah.
It happens.
But we'll
That's
be
the
doing
best of
something
us.
cool. We got some cool ideas. We just want to get together. So we love, like, networking with all the
Yeah.
other podcasts. And I feel like it's a good opportunity for all of us to kind of learn some stuff. And I feel like each one, even as long as we've been doing this, each podcast that I've gone on, each one we have more involvement with doing production on, we learn stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, just going and, like, doing East of Elvins 310 podcast, like, I learned shit over there. I'm like, oh, that's a cool way to do that. So I think it's just a cool opportunity to get all of the people who are interested in doing the same things together and kind of bullshit and bounce ideas off each other.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of what PodCon will end up being. We'll probably end up being like a networking event is what we're talking about, but we're going to
But
probably
also,
push it till December, I think
It is
what
open
they're
to
talking
the
about.
public, so if you're a fan of any of the podcasts that are going to be there, like you can meet your favorite podcast
Yeah.
hosts, and that's going to be super cool.
But we
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know when it's going to happen now because we are postponing that. So
Yeah, but keep eyes out.
Yeah.
keep
To
eyes
come.
out on that. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Well, guys, it has been freaking awesome having you guys on.
Yes.
We've been talking now for almost an hour.
Dang,
Nice.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
That was easy.
Easy peasy, yeah.
So,
Well, thank you guys a lot. Again, we look forward to having you on.
I'm excited, yeah.
And then like to have you both on.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just in general,
yeah,
like I said,
yeah.
if we start just every now and then just get together and do something like this,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and it's usually got to be cannabis friendly for us.
well,
Yeah.
I don't go anywhere. Anywhere I go. So we went to an event the other day. We went out to Appalachia meets the Ozarks.
yeah,
And
she went the day before me.
Yeah. So I went out on Friday, and then somebody messaged me and was like, "Is that place weed friendly?" I was like,
Me.
"Oh, okay." I was like, "I
It
don't know."
was me.
I said, "I don't know, but I smoked weed there."
It was me. I said, hey, was it weed friendly? And you were like, I don't know.
Sure hope so.
I smoked.
Anywhere I go, I just assume it's weed friendly until somebody tells me it's not.
I tried making it out that night, but I worked too late. I ended up going the next night.
Oh yeah, it was a good time.
But yeah,
It was a good
definitely. Thank
time.
you for having us on. It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So real
Thanks for
quick,
motivating
again, we got Travis Travioli here, and then we got Show Me Green of East of Elvins 310 podcast. So where can people find you? How often are you releasing episodes?
Thank you for that. I
Yeah.
swear I never forget. So we do the Cannabis Day on Sunday. It's usually me, Show Me Green, always on Sunday.
You guys call it church, right?
The,
Go to
the
church.
Cannabis Church. we depending on what blunt goes down. Usually it's the Cannabis Church.
Yeah.
And we have usually J Dog will be on there every now and then, and Light and Jay when he's not doing big things. Yeah, he's getting ready to start a podcast as well. But then I also get an itch, and I like interviewing people. Mm-hmm. So I actually, since the studio's at my house, and I don't have kids or anything, I squeeze in a couple extra episodes. So they are on YouTube, East of Elvins 310. We are on Spotify, East of Elvins 310, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Also, we got all my videos on TikTok are like 200, and I was cool with that. Me and this dude post your logo with an Enlightened J song behind it, 2,000, 2.5
Oh
thousand.
my god!
We got 2.5 thousand.
Then you quit TikTok, right? That's what I
That's
did.
the last one. That's the last one. How the hell are we gonna compete with that, bro? But yeah, please follow, subscribe. Facebook, don't get it out there like I thought it did. And like, it's nuts when I run into somebody and they're like, dude, you listen to that too? And I'm like, That's me,
You
man.
listen to
Yeah,
You know,
dude, as we're recording.
That's me. I didn't know that. And I'm like, how did you not know that? I
We
put it
don't
all over
Popeye the Sailor
Facebook.
Man.
Facebook's not working in my favor, but yeah, thanks for coming on. Let me get out there to your listeners as well.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Anytime,
I like
guys.
to bring some stoners to yours too.
Yeah.
Maybe some
I prefer-
cultivators.
So
There you
I
go.
smoke every episode, and then they're like, "We can't smoke anymore because we stopped talking." So I'm just like smoking by myself. So I'm like, I'm going to do their podcast.
I can adjust. If you notice, I didn't spark one up yet, and I even had one. So thank you.
And then one more time, the Spooktacular at North or whatever it is.
It's in Hillsboro. You can look it up on Facebook. North Dispensary. It's going to be from 5 to 10, October 26th. They're going to have food trucks. They're going to have karaoke. They're going to have
Karaoke?
yeah.
That's so fun.
That's where I'm going to do the Frank Sinatra.
I love that.
But yeah, it's going to be great and it's free. So like costume contest. Who don't love that? Especially
Right.
stoners. Like I'm looking really forward. It's in a field, so there's gonna be a bonfire.
No,
If you guys ain't doing, I know it's a week before Halloween, but if you guys ever want to, you guys, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
The 26th.
If we're
Check it out.
available, come check it out.
Or
Heck yeah.
check out the East of Elvins 310 podcast on Facebook and shit. I'll repost it on there.
Yeah.
How about you check them out both?
And then show me, you got anything you want? You got
Yeah,
anything
it's
you
grow. You're following your page.
Oh, yeah, Show Me Green on Facebook and Instagram.
These guys grow going. You can see
Yeah.
these beauties grow. You can get
Yep.
on there and look at the flower you guys smoked if you go back
Yeah.
a couple pages.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
you'll be able to take. They're all labeled and everything, so you'll be able to find that exact
Awesome.
one and see how it looks.
It's nice
before,
watching it grow and then be
Yeah.
like, this is what we're smoking.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
That's
so that's what.
fun.
Whenever you gave me the Voodoo Larry, then you guys were recording an episode the next day, smoking it. So I was like, I'm gonna smoke this with them while I listen.
right there.
That's awesome.
That's one thing I do want to say about you guys. Like, I appreciate. Like, I feel like of all the people I've met in the cannabis world, like, I feel like you two are two of the most knowledgeable, and I feel like you're both so willing to share that knowledge
Man.
with everyone. So, like, we've got a friend right now who's getting ready to start chemo, and the first thing I did was reach out to these guys and be like, hey, this is what we're looking for. What do you guys? And immediately they're like, hey, you're looking for something
Both
with
of us did,
this. You're looking for this, and this. And I mean, I just really, really appreciate that. So thank you guys for being willing to share your
Oh, yeah,
knowledge.
anytime.
Thank
that's
you.
what
Thanks.
that's what God put us on earth for.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, thanks,
Right on,
guys.
guys.
All right,
Thank
peace.
you.